Hi, I am KTM on two wheels, and today's topic is I am hot. No, really. The topic is actually I'm hot and how to cope with heat, with extreme heat. Portugal has been through a very high heat wave. For example, today is one of the coldest days we've had for 2 weeks, and the temperature, according to my trusty old thermometer, is 37.5 degrees centigrade, which is actually quite nice temperature. It's very cold compared to what it's been. A few days ago I came to the bike and it was in the sun, but it said 48 degrees. That's just way too much. After I got rolling a bit, it never went down below 41. That's just... it feels like you're in an oven, okay? I was riding around with my visor cracked open, and I had to close it because the hot air coming in through the gap in the visor was baking my eyes. My eyes were actually hurting. The air was so hot, so I had to close the visor, and I was fresher that way. So you can imagine the heat. For example, I got off work, which is an air-conditioned building, and the feeling I had as I went out the door was, you know, in the movie Chronicles of Riddick, when that Furion guy commits suicide in front of Riddick by going out into crematoria after sunrise, and he goes out and he raises his hand like this and just melts away. That's how you feel when you go outside after a day in an air-conditioned building. It's just, you feel like you're melting. So, how do you cope with this? Sorry, scratchy nose? Oh god, it's hot. How do you cope with this? I got a few tricks. Some of them mine, others people told me to try them out, and they work, and so here they are. Trick number one, which was actually given to me by a subscriber which I do not remember, and that subscriber lives in Texas, so he knows what he's doing, is you use a scarf. Sorry, the Portuguese word for handkerchief and for scarf is the same. Use a scarf, a light scarf, a silk scarf, something like that, which you wrap around your throat. And the way to get you cool is you wet that scarf, you get it soaking wet, you tie it around your neck as if it was winter, but it's wet, so as air flows through that area, and lot of air flows through that area, it evaporates the water and works just like sweat and cools you off. Why the neck? Well, one is because there's a lot of air there. Reason number two is because it's the only place where your skin is exposed when you're in full riding gear. And reason number three is very simple, and it will give you another tip, which is the way to cool off your body is to cool your skin in an area where blood flows near the surface. So if you have a major blood vessel near the surface of your skin, that's where you want to cool your skin. Those areas include, in case you don't know, the wrists. You have many blood vessels going through on the outside of your wrists, veins mainly. If you're very light in complexion, and you have not much fat under the skin, you can actually see the veins in your wrists. Another place is your neck, because you have you have the jugular, you have the venal artery on your neck, so that's an awesome way to cool you off, with the added bonus that that's cold blood that flows straight into your brain, so that actually allows your body to save cooling by not having to provide so much blood to your brain in order to cool it. And your armpits. That's why you sweat out of your armpits whenever it gets hot, because under your armpits runs a really big artery that sends blood into your arms. So if you cool that off, and then you have also the returning vein, so if you cool that off, you're going to cool a lot of blood. And why do you have to cool blood? Well, because your body actually works as a pretty good thermal machine. It sends blood to areas that it knows are colder, so that blood gets colder and flows through the rest of the body and cools the whole body. So if you have a body part that's very cold and the rest of the body is very hot, your body takes care of sending loads of blood to the cold part to cool off the hot part, and vice versa. That's why in the winter, if you are cold, you can have the best jacket in the world, but if your legs are bare, you're still going to be cold. So that's how you cool your body. The handkerchief, not handkerchief, the scarf around, the wet scarf around your neck is one good option. As you know, you can also cool off other places, like, for example, your wrists. And there's another very nice way to cool off. It's not very practical, except when you're lying down, which is what I use when it's too hot to sleep, is right over your heart. Obviously, if you put a very cold cloth, wet cloth, right on top of your heart, you'll be cold instantly. You'll feel very cold nearly instantly. But that's not really practical on the bike. So if you don't want to go around with a handkerchief around, with a scarf around your neck, you can also get one of those tennis wrist cloth thingies. Those things that tennis guys use, it's like a cloth elastic band around your wrist. You wet that and it'll help. And this is tip number 3, which is something I found. I don't know if anyone else has the same idea, but it's a good idea. You get an ice pack and you put it on the back protector of your jacket. Now, a little detail is that which ice pack is very important, because hard objects on your back protector are generally a really bad idea. I use one of those it's like imagine a sheet of printer paper. It's like that big, only it's separated into little small individual squares filled with a bluish liquid. It's supposed to go into the freezer, and then it thaws and then goes back into the freezer. Each one of those squares is basically a pillow of ice, and as it melts, it becomes water. And it's hard when it's ice, obviously, but when it's water, it's kind of soft. Why do I use that? Because that's flexible. So if I fall on that, it's going to flex around my body and not injure me much. But it's an ice pack on your back, which helps immensely. You're not going to feel cold. You're not going to go like, oh, this is so good. But you will feel a difference on comfort. You won't feel as hot. You don't feel the ice pack there cooling you off. It doesn't feel like you have a block of ice under your t-shirt. But it does feel fresher. You feel less temperature because your body is basically taking advantage of that cold spot to cool itself off. Another one is wear a good summer jacket, because these are better than t-shirts for hot weather. Obviously, excepting when you're stopped. Okay, there's no magic bullet here. But why are they better than t-shirts? Well, there's a reason Tuaregs they're covered from head to toe, and these are the desert folk. It's because these jackets protect you from direct sunlight, so you're in the shade. And since they're ventilated, you are in the shade, but there's still air moving through. So you're getting the benefits of the air flowing over your body, and none of the problems with sunlight. Very harsh and strong sunlight on your skin, which would burn you and would make you feel constantly hot. So yeah, these are my tips for very hot weather. Hang on, I need to figure out where I'm going to go like this. Okay, these are my tips for the extreme hot weather. If you have a good summer jacket, as soon as you start going, because you're going to put on the jacket and put on the gear, and it's going to take a while, you'll be a bit sweaty, and as soon as you start moving, you start feeling the sweat evaporating, and you're suddenly getting really cold, and it feels great. So, whoa, 30 degrees! Wow, it's so cold! Oh god, we've had temperatures of 40, 42, yeah, 43 I think. It's just insane. Well, that's it. Cager out. I have finally got a good summer jacket.